Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Ganit. This is Samir Sardana, and in this video I will be taking question of time, speed and distance in the series of 200 must do Quant question for Snap. We'll be covering 15 best question of TST, right? Let's have a look at all these question. Question number 1. It says if the difference in the time taken to cover a certain distance of 12 at 12 km per hour and at 20 km per hour is 30 minutes, find the distance. See that guys. In this question, distance is given to you as constant. The concept that we are going to use here, that is a proportionality concept, will be used in most of the question of TSD. You see that distance is equal to speed into time, right? If distance is constant, guys, if distance traveled at two different speed is constant, then always keep this in mind. Speed and time will be inversely proportional to each other. That means if speed goes up, time goes down. If speed goes down, then time goes up, right? If distance is kept as constant, speed and time will be inversely proportional to each other. Now in this question you can say that distance traveled is constant, right? It's a certain distance is traveled. So in both of the speed, distance traveled is constant. You see that first you have a speed of 12 km per hour to travel a constant distance. And the same distance then is traveled at a speed of 20 km per hour. You see that speed ratio here is 3:5. Then can I say time ratio would be 5:3. Why? Because it's inversely proportional to speed. You see that the meaning of this time ratio is that if I was taking earlier 5 minutes to travel a distance, now I'll be taking 3 minutes to travel the distance. So what is the difference between 5 and 3? It is 2 minutes. But as per the statement of the question, the difference between these two distance is equivalent to 30 minutes. Now this time, as you can see, is 15 times of this. So can I say that? At this speed, I'll be taking total 5 into 15, that is 75 minutes, right? So once you get to know that at a speed of 12 km per hour, total time taken is 75 minutes. Now minute can be converted into hours by dividing it by 60. So simply solve this, you'll get your answer as 15 km. That means distance will be equal to 15 km. That's one of the best way to answer the question without assuming any variable. Here also you can see that if I want to solve this question with this speed, I can still solve this. Right here, you see that time is 3 minutes. If I want to, if I multiply it with 15, this will become 45 minutes. So at a speed of 20 km per hour, I'm taking 45 minutes. Minute can be converted into hours. So the distance here will also be equal to 15 km. Moving to question number 2, while going to office, I'm in a hurry and hence I travel at 60 km per hour. But while coming back from office, I drive at a more leisurely speed of 40 km per hour. If I take a total of 60 minutes for both the way, find the distance to my office. You see this guys, again I'm traveling at 60, I'm going to office, at 40 I'm coming back from office. So distance from home to office or office to home will obviously be constant, right? So use the same concept here. First I have a speed of 60 km per hour. Then I have a speed of 40 km per hour. Speed ratio, as you can see, is 3:2. Time ratio will be 2:3. You see that? Now here this time is total time, which is 60 minutes. I was taking earlier 2 minutes, now I'm taking 3 minutes, so total time taken will be 5 minutes. If I want this time to be equal to 60 minutes, which is 12 times of this, in this case I'll be taking 24 minutes. In this case I'll be taking total 36 minutes. At a speed of 60 km per hour, time taken is 24 minutes. Minute can be converted to hour by dividing it by 60. This get cancelled, right? Now this minute has been converted to hours. Hour and hours will get cancelled. So total distance will be 24 km. That means the distance from home to the office is 24 km. That's how you're supposed to solve this question, right? Moving ahead to the next type of questions of, relative speed or police and thief question. A policeman start chasing a thief. The ratio of the speed of the thief and the policeman is 9:11. That means if thief is running at a speed of 9, then police will be running at a speed of 11. That's a speed ratio. And when the policeman catches a thief, it is found that the policeman has covered 60 meters more than the thief. Now keep this in mind. In this particular case, you can see that distance is not constant, right? It's not that the police and thief are traveling the same distance, because if police has to catch the thief, the distance traveled with the police has to be more than the thief. There has to be a certain distance between thief and police. Only then police will be trying to catch the thief, right? The time of traveling for thief and police is same. Now you see that if time is constant, then distance and speed will be directly proportional to each other, right? If distance goes up, speed goes up. That means distance and speed will be directly proportional to each other. Distance ratio and speed ratio will be same. Speed ratio is 9:11, then distance ratio will also be 9:11. That means if thief is if thief is traveling 9 meter in a certain time, police will be traveling 11 meter in a certain time. That means police at any point of time will be covering 2 meter more than thief if time is kept constant. But in the question you can see that difference between the thief distance travel and the police distance travel is 60 meter, which is 30 times. So thief in this time will be traveling a distance of 270, police will be traveling a distance of 330. We are supposed to find out the distance traveled by the police when to catch the thief. It will be 330. So option would be third. Third option is the correct answer to the question. Next, two swimmers start from the same end A of a 200-meter long swimming pool. The faster one reaches the other end. The faster one reaches the other end B, turns back and meet the slower one at a distance of 175 meter from the starting end. Where will the slower one be when the faster one reaches the starting point? So guys, so this complete swimming pool, right, is of length 200 meter. We have a 200-meter length swimming pool, right? The faster one reaches the other end B. So one is a faster swimmer, the another one is a slower swimmer, right? The faster one reaches the other end B, right? This is the faster one reaches the other end B and meet the slower one at a distance of 175 meter from the starting end. So guys, faster one is touching the point B, then coming back. So they are meeting at a distance of 175 meter from the end A, right? That means if 175 meter from the starting point, that means they are at 25 meter from the end B. So see that by the time faster one has traveled a distance of 200 plus 25 because it has touched the point B and then coming back. By the time faster one has traveled a distance of 225 meter, slower one has traveled a distance of 175. That's the ratio of 9:7, right? That's the ratio of 9:7. That means by the time faster one is traveling a distance of 9, slower one will be traveling a distance of 7. Now we are supposed to find out where will the slower one be when the faster one reaches the starting point. Now when the faster one will be reaching the starting point, the total distance traveled will be as you can see that, how much? 400, right? Total distance travel will be 400. So by the time faster one travel a distance of 400, slower one, you can see that now this multiplying factor is of 400 by 9. So slower one will be 400 by 9 into 7. Slower one will be traveling a total distance of 2800 by 9. Out of this 2800 by 9 distance, out of this total distance of 2800 by 9, you can see that the slower one has traveled a distance of 200 meter in the direction towards B. So he will be 1000 by 9 meter, right? 1000 by 9 meter from the from the point B. So he must have traveled this much distance in the direction towards A. So you can see that this is the distance, right? This is the distance of the person or the slower one from the end B, right? From the end B. As you can see that in all of this question, we have to find out the distance from A. So from A, the distance will be 200 minus 1000 upon 9. That is 1800 minus 1000. That is 800 upon 9, right? So 800 upon 9 will be the correct answer to the question. Let me check. Are we doing any calculation mistake? 9 into 8, 72. Okay, let's do the question again. I guess we are doing the mistake here. Some has to be some calculation mistake. Let me do the question again. So guys, total distance traveled you can see is equal to 200 meter, right? long. The faster one reaches the other and B turns back and beat the slower one at a distance of 175 meter from the starting end. So 175 from the starting end is the point where they are meeting. So this distance would be 25. So as you can see that by the time faster one is traveling a distance of 200 plus 25, that means 225. Slower one is traveling a distance of only 175 meter, right? So slower one has traveled this much distance and the faster one has traveled this much distance, right? All right. All right. So that's the fact now. Now you see the time is constant here. Time is constant, so distance ratio would be same as speed ratio, right? Now you see that this ratio is 25 into 9 is 225, 25 into 7 is 175. Now you can see that if faster one has to reach the starting point, faster one need to travel 175, a distance of 175 meter more, right? Okay, that's correct, guys. What we were doing was perfectly fine, right? Where will the slower one be when the faster one reaches the starting point? So by the time faster one reach the starting point, right, the total distance travel will be 200 plus 200, that is 400, right? That is a total distance, which is 400 by 9. So that means this person will be traveling, by that time will be traveling a 2800 by 9 distance. Now out of that 2800 by 9 distance, right, slower one has traveled 200 meter in this direction. That means towards B. So out of that, rest of the distance is 1000 by 9. And this 1000 by 9 distance is traveled in this direction, right? So you can see that if this 1000 by 9 is traveled in this direction, then from A, he has already traveled 1000 by 9, right? He will be 1800 minus 1000, that means 800 by 9 meter from A, right? Which would be 9 into 8, 72, 8, 9 into 8, 72. That is 88.88 meter from A, right? So it's approximately, you can see that is 89, right? Right. So this A has to be over here. So that is 88.9 meter, 88.88 meter from A. So yes, that's the correct answer. The option 3 would be the correct answer. This approximately 89 meter from A. That's a fine answer. Okay, question number 6 here. A train met with an accident 150 km from its original station. It completed the remaining journey at half of the user speed and reaches 1 hour late at the destination. So guys, you see that total distance traveled, right? The train is meeting with an accident after traveling 150 kilometer. Train has traveled 150 kilometer. At this point of time, train is having an accident. It completed the remaining journey at half of the user speed. So if this distance is traveled at v, then this rest of the distance is traveled at v upon 2. And because of this the train is now reaching the destination 60 minutes late. Train is now reaching the destination 60 minutes late. Had the accident taken place 30 kilometer later, if the accident would be happening 30 kilometer later, it would have been only half an hour late. It would have been only half an hour late. That means after this point, right, if the train traveled at v by 2, now the train is only 30 minutes late. Find the distance between the two stations. Okay, see guys, right? This is point A, this is point A. After traveling the distance at half of the speed, train is taking train is 60 minutes late, right? Train is 60 minutes. What does it mean? That means if my speed is earlier 2 and now speed become 1, that's a speed ratio. If I the time ratio would be 1:2, so now I will be getting late by 1 minute, but I'm getting late by 60 minutes. That means earlier I'm taking 60 minutes to travel the distance, but now I'm taking total 120 minutes to travel the distance, right? So can I say that from this point to this point, train is taking total 120 minutes at this speed. Train is total taking 120 minutes at this speed. Now similarly, right, you see that here from this point to this point. You see that again speed of the train is becoming half. So in this case again the speed ratio is 2 ratios. If you do this question again from this point, right, when the accident is happening for the second time, speed ratio is 2:1. Again speed is becoming from 2 to 1. So time will be 1, time will go from 1 to 2. Time here is 1 minute difference. I want this difference to be 30 minutes. That means earlier if I'm taking 30 minutes, now I'll be taking 60 minutes. So that means time from this point, second accident, the second position of accident to destination will be 60 minutes. Now time from this point to this point is 120 minutes. From this point to this point is 60 minutes. So can I say this 30-kilometer distance is traveled in 60 minutes at unusual speed. At unusual speed. So guys, if 30-kilometer distance is traveled in 60 minutes, can I say that in 120 minutes the total distance traveled will be how much at unusual speed? At half of the speed. If 30-kilometer distance, when the train, you can see that now you can see that this 30-kilometer distance is traveled in 60 minutes, right? Right, and this is happening in the normal speed, guys. This is happening in the normal speed, right? This is happening in the normal speed because in the second case, this whole distance is traveled at a normal speed. So train is taking total 60 minutes to travel at normal speed in 30 to travel a distance of 30 kilometer. So at a speed v, train is taking 60 minutes to travel a distance of 30 kilometer, right? So at a speed v2, train will be traveling 15 kilometer, right, and right in 60 minutes, right? So total, you can see that train is taking 1 minute to travel from this point to this point, right? So can I say that in 120-minute train will be traveling a total distance of 30 kilometer. Train will be traveling a total distance of 30 kilometer at a speed of v2. That means the distance from the point when the accident is happening, and the destination is there, the total distance is 30 kilometer, and train has already traveled a distance of 150. So 150 plus 30, the answer will straight away be 180 kilometer. That is option number A. This is the correct answer to the question. Now moving ahead to the question number 7. Navjeevan Express from Ahmedabad to Chennai leaves Ahmedabad at 6:30, travels at 50 km per hour towards Baroda. So guys, you need to make a complete situation right in this question, right? Let's see what is happening. So at 6:30 a.m. guys, right, Navjeevan Express leaves, right, Ahmedabad towards Baroda, from Ahmedabad to Chennai. So this is Ahmedabad, this is our Chennai, right? At 6:30 a.m. train is leaving at a speed of 50 km per hour. At a speed of 50 km per hour. Okay. Towards Baroda, situated at 100 kilometers away. Now Baroda is 100 kilometers away from this distance, right? At 7 a.m. Howrah Ahmedabad Express leave Baroda, right, towards Ahmedabad. Okay. Now this train is leaving at 7 a.m. right, and travel at a speed of 40 kilometers. This train is traveling at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Okay, now you see that this train and the traffic controller at Baroda realize that both the trains are running on the same track. How much time does he have to avoid a head-on collision between the two trains? So you see that by the time 6:30 to 7, right, by the time the second train is leaving, this train is traveling alone, right? So at a speed of 50 km per hour in 30 minutes, that means from 6:30 to 7, you can say it's only 30 minutes, that's half an hour. The train must have traveled 25 km already. So distance between both the two train is 100. Out of that, 25 km distance has been traveled. So we will be left with 75 km distance. Now this distance after 7 a.m. will be traveled by both trains. Now one train is running at 50, the another train is running at 40. So the combined speed will be 50 plus 40 because both of them are running in the opposite direction. A distance of 75 at a speed of 90 will be covered in this much time. You can convert it into minutes. See that 3 into 2, 3 into 3, 25. The total time taken would be 50 minutes. So see that the collision will be happening after 7, 50 minutes after 7. That means collision will be happening at 7:50 a.m. right? So and The traffic controller is realizing this at 7:30. So collision is going to happen at 7:50 and this person is realizing at 7:30. So how much more time he has to avoid the head-on collision? He has only 20 minutes to avoid the head-on collision. So answer is option number A. Looking at the question number 8, in a foggy night, the visibility is limited just 300 meters. Exactly 4 minutes after the driver of a speeding car could see a bus stand, the driver of the bus sees the car vanishing from his sight ahead. So you see that this is the, let's say, position of the car, guys, right? And this is the position of the bus, right? The visibility is just 600 meters. The question says exactly 4 minutes after the driver of a speeding car could see the bus ahead. See that this distance, right? Because the visibility is only 600 meters, so can I say that the moment the person who is driving the car is spotting the bus, the distance between car and bus is 600 meter, and the moment when the bus driver spotted the car, right, that also has to be 600 meter because the visibility is only 600 meter. Now this process, right, when the car, can you see that car is 600 meter behind bus, but now it is 600 meter ahead of the bus, and this total process is happening in 4 minutes. Speed of the bus is 48 kilometer per hour. So can you see that car is traveling a total distance of 1200 meter, right, with a relative speed with respect to bus in 4 minutes. So you simply find out if 1200 meter distance is supposed to be traveled in 4 minutes, what will be the total time? What is the speed that is required? A 1200 meter distance, meter can be converted into kilometer by dividing it by 1000. This is 1.2 kilometer distance. 4 minutes can be converted into hours. 4 minutes by hour, 4 by 60, right? That is 18 kilometer. That means the speed of the car has to be 18 kilometer per hour more than the speed of the bus, because that's a relative speed, right? Right, that's a relative speed, not the speed of the car. So car is chasing the bus at a speed of 12 kilometer per hour. That is a distance with respect to bus. Bus is traveling at a speed of 48. So car speed will be 48 plus 18. That would be 66 kilometer per hour. Option 5 would be the correct answer. A thief escaped from a city A at 2 p.m. and flees towards city B at 40 kilometer per hour. Okay. See that, guys? Thief escaped city A at 2 p.m. Right? Thief escaped city A at 2 p.m. and flees towards city B at 40 km per hour. Thief is running at a speed of 40 km per hour. At 3 p.m., the police realize the escape and start chasing the thief at 50 km per hour. Sorry. The police at A started chasing the thief at 50 km per hour. That means after 1 hour, that means thief will already be at a distance of 40 km from the police who is coming from A, right? Simultaneously, police from the station B also starts towards city A. So simultaneously, one more police from B is also trying to catch the thief from the point B. Now thief at a speed of 60 km per hour. Now this police is coming at a speed of 60 km per hour. What should be the distance between A and B such that both the police team nab the thief at the same time? So see that if this police has to catch the thief, this distance of 40 km need to be traveled at a speed of 50 minus 40. The relative speed of the police coming from A and the thief would be 50 minus 40, that is 10. That means police will catch up with the thief in 4 hours. Police will catch up with the thief in 4 hours, right? So by the time, that means, and both the police are catching the thief at the same time. So in 4 hours, the police, the police who is coming from B must have traveled a distance of 240 km, right? And by that time, police who is coming from A in 4 hours would be traveling 50 into 4, that is 200 kilometers. So let's say there's a point where they're catching the thief, right? The police from A as well, the police from B is catching the phase. So total distance here will be 200. This distance is 240. So total distance will be 200 plus 240. That is 440 kilometer, right? That means the distance between city A and city B will be 440, because both the police coming from A and B are traveling for 4 hours to catch up with the thief, right? So this police in 4 hours will be traveling 240, and this police at in 4 hours at a speed of 50 will be covering 200, and both are meeting. So that means total distance will be 200 plus 240, that is 400. Question number 10. A train traveling at 72 km per hour crosses a platform in 30 seconds and a man standing on the platform in 18 seconds. Keep this in mind, guys. When a train is supposed to cross a man standing on the platform, the distance traveled by the train will be same as the length of the train. That means, you see that this is the position of a train, right? Now if I want train to cross the man, this has to be the total distance traveled by the train will be equal to the length of the train, right? So the length of the train that and the time taken by the train traveling at 72 km per hour uh, to cross a man standing on the platform is 18 seconds, right? So can I say that length of the train x divided by speed 72 is equal to 18 seconds? So length of the train will be 72 km per hour, can be converted into meter per second by multiplying it by 5 by 18. Keep this in mind. 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meter per second, right? Multiplied by 18 seconds. This get cancelled. So length of the train will be 360 meter, right? The length of the train you can see is 360 meter. Now train is crossing the platform in 30 seconds. Now speed of the train is 72 into 5 by 18 meter per second, and in 30 seconds the distance traveled will be 600 meter. Out of this distance traveled 600 meter, right? You see that when train is supposed to cross the platform, now you see that this is the train that we have, right? If the train is supposed to cross the platform, let's say this is the platform, right? Train will cross the platform when train position will be like this. Now see that distance traveled by train to cross the platform will be the length of the platform plus the length of the train. The total distance traveled to cross the platform is 600 meter. Out of that, the distance traveled by train length is 360 meter. So the platform length will be equal to 240 meters. So fifth option would be the correct answer. Two trains are traveling the same direction at 50 and 30. The faster train crosses a man sitting in the slower train in 18 seconds. Find the length of the faster train. So I see that here. 50 km per hour. Now are traveling in the same direction. This train, there's another train which is running at a speed of 30 km per hour. A train running at a speed of 50 km per hour is crossing a man which is in this train, right? Let's say whatever is the position of the man, let's say this is the position of man, right? You see that if the train is running at a speed of 30, man is also running in this direction at a speed of 30. Now the faster train will be covering the distance equal to the length of its own, right? Whatever is the length of this train, that distance will be covered to cross this man. So the length of the faster train will be traveled at a speed of 50 minus 30. The relative speed between both of these two would be 20, because both of them are running in the same direction. This distance is given to me as, this time is given to me as 18 seconds. Now this is kilometer per hour. This is 18 seconds, right? So the length of the train would be 18 seconds. Kilometer per hour can be converted into meter per second by multiplying it by 5 by 18. So total distance travel will be 100 meter. That is option number B, guys, right? A motorboat went down the river for 14 kilometers and then up the river for 9 kilometers. See guys, in boats and stream question, if you're solving the boats and stream question, keep this in mind. There are two types of speeds that you need to keep in your mind, right? You see that if this is, let's say that this is direction of the stream, right? This is the direction of the stream. Let's say that Direction of the speed is u kilometer. Direction of the speed stream is, let's say, u kilometer per hour. If you are running, if you are traveling in this stream, right, at a speed of v kilometer per hour in the direction of the stream. Let's say that you are swimming in this, right? You're swimming in this stream at a speed of v kilometer per hour in the direction of the stream. So when you're moving in the direction of the stream, that is known as a downstream speed. In downstream speed, both the speed will be added because you can travel a distance of v kilometer per hour. That means and water is running at a speed of u kilometer per hour. So total distance, the total speed will be v plus u kilometer per hour. So speed of the water will be added to the your swimming speed. So this will be called as downstream speed. Upstream speed will be equal to v minus u kilometer per hour when you are running against the direction stream, because you travel against at a speed of v, water is going in this direction. So in upstream speed, the stream speed will be subtracted from your speed, that is v minus u kilometer per hour, right? So this is a basic concept of upstream and downstream you need to keep in your mind. Now in this question you can see that a motor went down the river. Down the river means downstream for 14 kilometers and then up the river for 9 kilometers. It took a total of 5 hours for the entire journey. Find the speed of the water river flow if the speed of the boat in still water is 5. Speed of the boat in still water, that means the value of v is given to me as 5 kilometers per hour, because that speed is v, swimming speed, that is speed in the still water, right? And this is the water speed. Now speed of the boat in still water is 5, that means v is given to me as 5 kilometers per hour, right? Now a total distance of 14 kilometers is supposed to be traveled at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour, right? When you're moving downstream speed, then you're supposed to take downstream, right? That is v plus u. There's a downstream speed, and you're coming up at it by 9 kilometer per hour. You're coming up by a distance of 9, and that's the upstream speed. So while you are going up, right, in the river, that means you're supposed to take the downstream speed and the upstream speed, and that speed is v minus u kilometer per hour. This total time, as you can see, is given to me as 5, right? Now this is what we have to solve. The value of v is given to me as 5. 14 upon 5 plus u plus 9 upon 5 minus u. This is supposed to be equal to 5. Now guys, now instead of making a quadratic equation here, you can apply your mind, right? You can see that this total value is 5 and I have 14 in the numerator here. You see that 14 has two factors, 2 and 7. If I take this factor as 2, this value will become 7, but then 7 plus something can never become 5. So can I say that value in the denominator has to be 7 so that this becomes 2? That means if I take 5 plus u as 7, just hit and trial, u will be 2. Now if I put u as 2 here, right, this will become 5 minus u will become 3, and 9 upon 3 will become 3. So total distance will be 2 plus 3, that is 5. The total time will be 2 plus 3, 5. That is getting satisfied. So we can say that 5, our assumption of 5 plus u being 7 is perfectly fine because that's satisfying it. U, in that case, u will be equal to 2 kilometer per hour, right? So this is the correct answer. You see that if I put u as 2 kilometer per hour, just try to see the factors of numerator values here. You'll get your answer without making it as a quadratic equation. 14 upon 7 plus 9 upon 3, that is equal to 5. This is being equal to 5. So that's a perfect assumption, right? So just try to find out the factor in the numerator. You will get your answer quickly. A man rows for 3 hours downstream and then for 3 hours upstream. So guys, we know that in downstream we need to take the total speed as v plus u, and 3 hours upstream the distance speed would be v minus u. So this is the total distance, right? This will be the total distance traveled downstream. This will be the total distance traveled upstream. Now in the whole process, in this total whole process, he covers a total distance of 18 kilometer, right? If the speed of stream is 1 kilometer per hour, speed of stream, that means water speed is, that is u is 1 kilometer per hour. So just put the value of u. 3 into v plus 1 plus 3 into v minus 1 is given to me as 18, right? So we can say that v plus 1 plus v minus 1 is equal to 6. This gets cancelled. V will be equal to 3 here, right? Now if V is equal to 3 here, how much more time will he have to row upstream to reach the starting point? You see that if V is 3 here, right, you see that total distance traveled downstream would be 3 into V plus 1, that is 3 into 3 plus 1, that is 12, right? Total distance traveled is 12. And when he's going upstream, when this person is going upstream, the distance traveled will be 3 into V minus 1. Now 3 into V is 3, 3 minus 1, 2, that is 6 kilometer. So out of 12 kilometer, this person has traveled upstream only 6 kilometer. Now to reach to the starting point, the person need to travel 6 kilometer more upstream. That means with the speed of V minus 1. 6 kilometer with the speed of V minus 1, that is 3 minus 1, which is 2. It will take 3 more hours, right? So 3 more hours will be needed to reach at the starting point. So answer will be option number 4. Now look at this question number 14. Atul traveled for 1/4 of the total time of a journey at a speed of 40 km per hour and the rest of the time at a speed of 80 km per hour. Find the average speed. So guys, question says, keep this in mind. Whenever you're finding the average speed, right? Average speed is nothing but total distance traveled, right? Total distance traveled by total time taken. Total distance traveled divided by total time taken, right? That's your average speed. Now the two speed, one is at 40 km per hour, another is at 80 km per hour for 1/4 of the time, right? 1/4 of the time. So what you do is, guys, right, whenever the question like this comes across, right, what you do is 1/4 of the time, just assume the total time, right? Can I take the total time as 4 hours? So for 1/4 of total time 4, that means for 1 hour I'm traveling at a speed of 40. For 3/4 of the time, total time, that means for 3 hours I'm traveling at a speed of 80. So what is my total distance travel for 1 hour? For 1 hour at a speed of 40 km per hour, total distance travel will be 40. And for 3 hours at a speed of 80 km per hour, total distance travel will be 240. So total distance travel is 280. And total time taken would be 1 hour plus 3 hours, that is 4 hours. So you can see that this is the answer, right? Average speed would be 70 km per hour. Option 1 is the correct answer. Question number 15. A man travels 1/3 of the distance at a speed of 45, half the distance at 60, and rest of the distance at a speed of 36. Find the average speed. So guys, 1/3 of the total distance. 1/3 of the total distance at a speed of 45 km per hour. 1/2, half of the distance at a speed of 60 km per hour, right? And the rest, so rest of the distance, you can see that would be 1 minus 1/2 minus 1/3. That is 1/2 minus 1/3, 2, and this will be 1/6, right? So rest of the distance, that means rest of 1/6 of the distance will be traveled at a speed of 36 km per hour. Guys, if I want to solve this question quickly, the better way to go for me would be to take a number, right? The total distance has to be something which will be the multiple of 45, 36, and 30, 60 and 36. As I know, my average speed, as we know, is defined as total distance traveled. Average speed is total distance traveled divided by total time taken. That's my average speed, right? Now to find out my total time, I need to find out these individual distance by 45, 60 and 36. So just make sure that your total distance traveled has to be the multiple of 1/3 of the total distance has to be the multiple of 45. That means it should be 45 into 3. 1/2 of the total distance has to be the multiple of 60. That means it should be divisible by 60 into 2 as well. 1/6 of distance has to be divisible by 36. Has to be the 1/6 of distance is traveled at 36. So your total distance has to be the multiple of this. So just find out the LCM of these values. You can see that LCM of these three values is 180, right? And for 3 to 6, I can put a factor of 6. Just assume this. Let's say that this is the total distance, because this will reduce my calculation part a lot. This will reduce my calculation part a lot. Yes or no? If I assume my total distance traveled to be 1080, you can assume it, right? Now, one third of the distance, one third of this distance at a speed of 45. What is one third of this distance? One third of this distance would be 360. Now, this is traveled at a speed of 45. Rest half of this distance, that means 540, is traveled at 60. Rest 1 by 6. 1 by 6 will be equal to what? 6 into 1, that would be 180. That distance is traveled at a speed of 36. That's it. Just found it and you'll get your answer, right? 1080 upon 5 into 9, 5 into 72. This is 8. 8 plus 9 plus 5. That is the answer. 1080 upon 17 plus 5, 22. So 2 into 11, 2 into 540. 540 by 11, that is 49.5. 11 into 4, 44. 49.09 would be the correct answer. That's the average speed, 49.09 kilometer per hour. Or you can say 540 by 11 kilometer per hour will be the correct answer to the question. Next question, guys, last question. Average speed of a bus excluding all stoppage is 54. This one I have seen is favorite of Snap, right? This was asked in Snap 2019. In my old series of 200 Snap Quant question, which I recorded in 2018, which is still available on YouTube channel, right? Uh, uh, I, I discussed this question, and that question was as it is asked in Snap. So now I'm discussing it again. It's very, very important. Average speed of a bus, excluding all stoppages, 54 kilometers. So if I exclude all stoppages, right, stoppage time, then the average speed comes out to be 54 kilometer per hour. Including all the stoppages, the speed gets reduced to 45 kilometer per hour. That's speed, right? So you see that speed ratio, you can see that is 6:5. 9 into 6, 9 into 5. So time ratio would be 5:6. That means excluding all the stoppages, if I exclude all the stoppages, I will be taking 5 minutes to travel the distance. But I include the stoppages, in that case I'll be taking 6 minutes to travel the distance. So see that instead of 5 minutes, I'm now taking 6 minutes. So what is the stoppage time? You can see that 1 minute is the stoppage time. So out of every 6 minutes, I'm actually traveling for 5 minutes and stoppage time is 1 minute. Question says, find the duration in minutes that the bus stops every hour. In 6 minutes, stoppage time is 1 minute. Every hour, that means in 60 minutes, the stoppage time would be 10 minutes. Option 2 would be the correct answer. That's the best way to solve the question, guys. That's it for the day. So we have covered almost all type of questions of TSD. We have covered relative speed, we have covered trains based question, we have covered proportionality questions, we have covered person stream type question, right? So these are the main types that you should cover for your SNAP exam. Thank you so much for watching the video. You can also cover 100% complete syllabus for CAD and OMATs, right, on my channel Easy Connect with Me. As you can see that in the previous year paper, in this paper of SNAP, which was conducted on 19th of January, right, in reasoning, we had questions from coding, decoding, blood relation, clocks, and calendar. All these topics, guys, I have already right now. Now you can check it. There's 100 reasoning ability question that I have already uploaded for Snap. Right, 100 reasoning ability question for Snap. This was uploaded 2 months back on this channel, and you can see that almost all the topics that I have covered in this series appeared on 19th January Snap. You can cross check it from coding, decoding questions, clock question, calendar question, right? All those type of questions have already been covered, and that video is already there for 2 months now on the channel. And questions from almost all the topics that I have covered in this have been asked on the 19th January Snap paper, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you in the next class, guys. Take care. Thank you.